Hello and welcome to the Edition Ringside Digest. I'm your host Kirk Day, along with my host Nick Miller, and in this video we're going to go over the last 2 days of Round 2 NHL playoff hockey. We missed a video for yesterday, couldn't get it done, but we're going to go over those games today. We got them between the Devils and Hurricanes, Oilers and Knights, and then we're going to go over the games yesterday between the Leafs and Panthers, and the Kraken and Stars. But before we get into this video, if you want to see more content from us, because we're going to be posting a lot more stuff, it's going to be very exciting, make sure to subscribe because we're going to be having a lot of fun going forward. It's going to be a lot of stuff that's going to be very exciting. So if you want to see it, make sure to subscribe because I think you'll want to. Some interesting stuff coming, some interesting stuff we got in the works. So we're just going to go into our first game that we had 2 days ago, which was the Devils versus the Hurricanes. And this was game 1 of this series. The Hurricanes take this one 5-1 and they take a 1-0 series lead. Gotta say, the Hurricanes were dominant in this game. They held the Devils to one shot in the first period. The Devils kind of looked hopeless. They didn't really have much at all going for them at any point in this game. Schmid didn't have a great game, but you can't really blame him for what he's done for the rest of the Devils' playoff run. You know, he's been absolutely fantastic. One game won't do much, but he could be a killer at the end of the series. You never know. He was replaced by Vitek Vanacek at the beginning of the second period, and it just kind of went on from there. So the Devils are going to have a look for a big comeback game tonight, which is the only game tonight. Let's see if he comes back in this one, gets another good game, even up the series maybe. So what do you think about this one, Nick?
Yeah, I mean, this is a classic case of just not being ready for game 1. I just don't know what the Devils are at. Like, they came to play starting in game 3 of the Rangers series, and like people say like, oh yeah, it's only game 1. Why would you not want to get out and win game 1? It's the same as any other game. It still counts for one game. It's not like, oh yeah, it's just game 1. You can get used to it as the series goes on. Come to play. Lindy Ruff. It's amazing to me that Lindy Ruff didn't have them ready for game 1.
Yeah, it could be a case of exhaustion as well. You know, coming out of that Rangers series and then pretty much not even having a break at all. So we'll see if that rush gets shaken off tonight. And we're going to move on to our second game here. 2 nights ago, May 3rd, which was the Oilers versus the Kings. This was another Game 1 series here, where the Vegas Golden Knights take it 6-4, also take Game 1 in a 1-0 series lead. Kind of a similar situation to the Dallas Stars Game 1 here. You know, Draisaitl scores all 4 goals, but the Oilers still fall short and can't get it done. The Oilers weren't good enough, basically. They needed to do a bit more. They needed to tighten up a bit on defense to win. You know, 6 goals, not ideal what you want in a game where you have one guy scoring 4. You know, the offense need to pick up as well. I think it was pretty much Draisaitl, McDavid, Evan Bouchard, and maybe 2 or 3. I think maybe Zach Hyman got 2 assists. It was pretty much only like 4 people that got points in that game for the Oilers, and it was pretty much the same people the entire time for all Draisaitl's goals. So the Oilers, I think, will need to spread the wealth a bit more, tighten up a bit more if they want this win next game on Sunday here. What do you think, Nick?
Yeah, I think the Oilers' power play stayed hot, 2 for 3 in that game. They've been ridiculous. I think it's somewhere around, it's between 60 and 70% for this playoffs, which is absolutely ridiculous. But when you think about it, the penalty kill also matters too. Like, they also let in 2 power play goals in 4 attempts last night, so 50% on the penalty kill, that's probably not going to cut it. You're going to have a good penalty kill. You're going to have to keep up the power play because this Vegas team is good. I know I said Edmonton in 5 games. I'm starting to think maybe they won't. But I think the Oilers will warm up to it and bounce back in game 2.
Yeah, they're certainly going to have to if they want to play a Vegas team like this. You know, it's not going to come easy, especially with getting now further in the playoffs. Teams like Vegas, either Dallas or Seattle, whatever they come out of that series. So they're going to have to tighten up regardless what happens. Win or lose, they're going to have to tighten up. Now we're going to head over to our May 4th games here, which happened last night between the Panthers and the Maple Leafs. Now in this one, the Panthers take it 3-2 to take a 2-0 series lead in Toronto. They win both in Toronto. The Leafs looked sharp to the first period. They did. They looked pretty good. But one thing I want to know is what Paul Maurice said to that Panthers team in the first intermission. They came out and scored 2 goals in 1 minute to start the second, and which just eventually led to the win after a 2-1 lead for Toronto in the first period. The Panthers come out, get 2, take the game 3-2. They looked good afterwards. Whatever happened, that first period they started slow, but they came out good. Matthew Knies, confirmed today, will be out for game 3 and 4 with a concussion. On just a weird play what it was against the boards, tied up with, I believe it was Sam Bennett behind the net. It's an odd one, a big loss for the Leafs, though. He's been playing well for the few games he's played. As well, just one thing before this game is going on to the next one. I don't like the question that reporter asked Ilya Samsonov. There's no need of that. That's like saying, yeah, you didn't play great, but this guy played pretty good, your opponent. What do you think about that? You don't ask that guy in that situation after like a loss at home. I don't understand. Dumb question. Shouldn't even have been asked it, and it kind of was a reasonable response. It could have been a bit nicer, but, tempers were a bit up after that second loss. Wasn't happy, so he kind of should have expected that response back from him.
My God, it takes a lot to be a player on a Canadian team with the media they have up in Montreal and Toronto. My God, that's brutal. Like, they ask the stupidest questions. Like, that's not, like, it's nothing against, like, the people trying to do their jobs. Come up with better questions. Like, don't ask him that. Ask him how, like, he felt about his game and what he could do to improve or something like that. Don't say, yeah, that guy's playing great, but you played really bad. What do you think about that? Like, what are you doing? Like, what are you asking? Like, what do you want him to say? Yeah, that guy's great. I sucked. That's the end. But what's funny about that game is it would be really, really funny to see Toronto, I gotta say, as a Habs fan, to celebrate, like, all the celebrating that was going on after they won the first round series, after the 19-year drought. It'd be funny if the next two were also Florida wins and it was a nice sweep there. I don't see that happening, though. I do have optimism for the Leafs. They didn't play bad in those two games. They did not play bad. It's just, I think the fans are looking for a little bit more of an outburst after they finally got the monkey off their back, but I think they'll bounce back in Game 3.
Yeah, they're going to need to. I mean, they can't afford to go down 3-0 while staying in Florida for Game 4. They need at least, I think they need at least 2 in Florida, to be honest with you, and then get it back to Toronto, and then they'll have their confidence back. Because as Florida's not selling too many tickets to Canadians down in the U.S., I think there's a lot of Canadians who live down there, especially during the winter. So I think that it will be, like, a lot of Canadians down there, even though it's not their intent. I think there will be a packed house of Leafs fans down there. It's and by some means, whether it's the scalper price going super high or they're just going to get tickets saying they're U.S. resident, I think it'll be pretty 50-50, maybe even a bit more for the Canadian fans, but we'll see what happens. That one's on Sunday, I believe, as well. So we're going to go to our final game here now, which was the Kraken versus the Stars. So this one was also a game, too. And the Stars actually take this one 4-2, get their win that they needed. Big bounce-back game. Series tied 1-1. It was a very deserving win by the Stars, I got to say. A big bounce-back. The big factor in this game was it was a 69 face-off percent win for the Dallas Stars in this game. It was a huge, huge factor. But, like, in every category, the Dallas Stars just outplayed them. They outshot them, I think it was 37-27. Like, a very good game is what they needed. Ottinger came, big bounce-back game, It's what they needed. Now, going back to Seattle, see how Seattle fans react to this one, 1-1. But the Stars are back. They didn't miss a beat after that first game, which was a bit of a rough game, which we all saw and knew. Some odd goals. But it was a big, big, big win is what they needed. They couldn't afford to go down 2-0 going down to Seattle. Even though maybe they're a bit better team than Seattle, Seattle got some good fans down in their home barn.
Yeah, one thing about the face-off percentage, like, we said that in the first round, and honestly, it's surprising that Seattle got out with that kind of performance out of the first round. That is brutal on the face-off. That they got to be better. Now, I know, I don't think Jared McCann played last game either, did he?
I don't believe so.
No, he didn't come back. So that is, like, one of their top centers. So that would be, that's a factor maybe. But at the same time, you got to get someone in there that can... you got to match them properly so they can get a few draws in there. But, man, that's a bad performance. You don't want to see that again from Seattle. But another thing I want to talk about, the game was good. Joe Pavelski stayed hot. Another thing is Tyler Seguin, 8 points in 8 games in the playoffs now. So he's maybe not the $10 million player that he's signed the contract to, but he's definitely pulling his end here in the playoffs.
Yeah, and it proved that you can't have a bad face-off percentage against the Dallas Stars. Show the Minnesota series. We lost a lot of face-offs, a lot in the power play as well. They scored a lot of power play goals within probably 10 seconds of a face-off on that power play. So that's a huge factor. That you can't really afford to do this against the Dallas Stars, who are incredible at face-offs, great in the power play, great in their offensive zone. It's just, you can't do that. They're going to need to tighten up next game, get better at it, and if they want to win this series or even have a chance in this series. But that's all the games we have for this video. We have the past 2 days, and like I said earlier, for the Devils and Hurricanes, that's the only game we have tonight. So we'll see if we're going to do another video recapping that one tomorrow. Maybe a bit something different. We'll have we'll see. Maybe we'll see. But that's all we got for this video. If you liked it, make sure to give it a like. And also, if you want to see more content, like I said at the beginning of the video from us, make sure to subscribe because we have a lot of exciting stuff coming. I'm sure you're going to want to see it. So that's the end of this video. Thank you for watching.